Congratulations! You, sir, yes I said you, sir, have made your way to Pirate Legend. Maybe you took your time, or maybe you followed a YouTube guide and grinded it there in a couple hundred hours. Either way, you, good sir, have reached the end game of Sea of Thieves. Well, at least supposedly. Now you've made it to Pirate Legend, you've probably noticed one thing. It wasn't really worth it. Don't get me wrong, this has a few pros. You get access to a load of cosmetics you don't have the accommodations to get yet. The cosmetics you do get don't really work with anything outside of their set and are considered pretty cringe to wear. And the new faction allows you to sell a grand total of 5 items for a reputation boost and gives you about 5 quests. 2 of which are more of what you've been doing. One takes you around an island that's known for crashing low-end hardware. One you can only get once a year. And the Quest to the Veil, which is actually quite a good one. So what should you be doing now you've become Pirate Legend? Well, let someone who did surprisingly well in their last Sea of Thieves video tell you what. Now, the simple answer is to go out and become the epic PvP fragger, super master gamer, sinking ships and living up to the pirate life. But like, really? Don't get me wrong, I have nothing up or wrong with PvP interactions in the Sea of Thieves as part of the natural flow of adventure. But actively hunting down players with next to no loot on both your and their ship doesn't sound like a lot of fun to me. So let's get started with some PvE options, shall we? And let's start with arguably the most obvious on that list. Hands down, the best reason to be a Pirate Legend. But why do I think the Quest to the Veil is so good? So you know how I said in my last video that the quests are designed to send you where the action is? Well, this Athena quest is designed to send the action to you. By whacking a massive Wizard of the Oz style tornado in the middle of the map, it says to all players, there's a lot of loot here, let's have a party. And really, more quests in the game should have a visual effect on the environment. Don't get me wrong, I love a good run of Thieves Haven, but you're unlikely to be interrupted while you're there. I think what makes Quest to the Veil by far the best thing you can do with an Athena Embassy flag is that everything you do in it is at least somewhat different to what the trading companies do. Granted, raiding shipwrecks, fighting ghosts, and shooting at forts isn't that much different from raiding shipwrecks, fighting skeletons, and shooting at ships. But while we all love working for the Pirate Lord, there are only so many times we can collect what is effectively the Infinity Gauntlet of the Sea of Thieves. This is where commendations come in. Okay, yes, I know a lot of the commendations are really grindy, but please, hear me out. Commendations themselves aren't supposed to be the adventure, they're just supposed to be the catalyst for making one happen. Okay, you need an example. As a pirate that loves all things Gold Hoarder, I've set my telescope on the Ancient Tribute sails, a piece of cloth that requires you to hand in 50 Ancient Tribute chests. These lumps of gold can be found in one of 2 ways: toying away in shrines and treasuries, or going on one of my favourite embassy quests. This is a push out onto the water, sending you on to adventures you wouldn't do otherwise. And while not radically changing the game, they do make you think about what part of the quest you're doing is the most important. Yes, I have walked out of many vaults with only the chest of the ancients. How could you tell? But to be honest, those are the boring commendations. While the Bilgerats are no longer the faces of the sea like they used to be, their commendations act as a ghost of Duke, haunting us from the Sea of the Damned. A great one to try for here is the Skeleton Exploder title, one you'll have probably made a lot of progress towards while grinding out the Order of the Souls. Gunpowder plot in particular can be very hard to get. I mean, killing 5 skeletons on a fort is hard enough, but add another crew to the mix, and things start to get a little bit dicey. And I mean, sure, you could rock up to a fellow Solid Slooper and explain your plan to give them all the loot in the vault, but where's the fun in that? Take this as a challenge to tuck away on a fort and take your chance with another ship that doesn't even know you're there. Much more fun than being in a smelly old alliance. And that brings me nicely on to the last point I want to make. Feel free to make the game harder for yourself. At the end of the day, Sea of Thieves is a sandbox-like-ish game. And it's definitely full of sand. That's a rubbish joke. There are many ways to roam the seas that are so strange even the developers didn't think to make it worth a commendation. Me and Z recently tested out selling nothing but explosive kegs, quickly learning that regular kegs were not worth our time, but stronghold barrels might just have been worth the risk. We'll have to give that another go at some point. He'll probably be streaming that on his channel. And I might even do it on mine as well. Ooh. Always keep in mind how non-linear this game is compared to literally anything else. You can tackle the game however you want. So, enjoy that aspect. As much as you hear about Pirate Legend being the ultimate goal of Sea of Thieves players, really, the game has no end point. Much like this video.